All right. Oh, there we go. Okay. So hopefully you can hear me if in chat if audio is working, which it wasn't a second ago. But it looks to me like it should be working. So hello to everybody. I can see some of you. So 428 Sylveon Academy, Alexis, Audicia, Casino, Commander, Farming, Girl, insert username, Sophia Fox, Starvin, the Dan Bar, and Yeses. Hopefully I got those right or roughly right. Hello, welcome to the class. Thanks for being here for the live stream. I hope that those of you who can make the live stream a regular part of your activities, you'll find that it's worth it to be here because you can ask questions at the moment that they occur to you and have them answered. Nice to meet you, Moises. Thanks for being here. So, yeah, anyway, thanks for being here for the live stream. If you're watching later, welcome. Hope you had a good first week if you're doing classes. So my name is Boyd Trollinger. My full name is John Boyd Trollinger. So if you see Trollinger, J-O, in my email, that's because the college uses my first name, but I go by my middle name, which is Boyd. This is CSCI 20, Programming and Algorithms 1. We assume that you have no programming experience in this class. Some of you might have taken an introductory programming course in high school and or in college. But the assumption is that you haven't done any programming. So if you have done a little bit of programming, then you can hit the ground running and sort of take the opportunity to have some nice review if that's what it is for you. So my plan here is to do a walkthrough on Canvas, show you how the course is put together, talk about the kinds of work we do in this class and how we earn our grade, and then I will show you how the modules work. So we'll do the orientation module that is part of this week, and then we'll probably take a break, and then we'll do some of the week 1 content. I'll talk a little bit about some of the terminology we'll use in the class, and then we'll do some programming work inside of our programming environment. So we're planning to get all of that done today. So if in chat, if my audio goes out, or if I'm talking about something that you can't see on the screen because I forgot to switch the views, please don't hesitate to let me know so I can fix that. Okay, so there are 2 sections of you, and I do one live stream for both sections. So if you see a control number that's not your control number, don't worry about it. All of your due dates are the same. All of your assignments are the same. The thing that is different is that your discussion groups are separate and your grade books are separate. But in terms of the content, you'll all have exactly the same experience. So we'll just start at the course homepage and then go down through the links and describe for you what the different links are. Let me do this. No, that doesn't do anything. I don't care about that. So you're looking at the instructor's view. Just so you know, there's a bunch of buttons on the side of my screen that you can't see. The reason why I'm using my instructor's view is because when I get to showing you what ConverZoom is, if I'm using my testing student view, which is this button up here, ConverZoom won't work, and then I won't be able to show you ConverZoom. So you're seeing a lot of extra stuff on the screen because that's what I as an instructor see. But what I intend to show you here is the stuff that you see, you will see in Canvas. So this is the course homepage. It is almost exactly the same for the other section, except for this number right here will be different. Everything else is the same. So the course homepage, what I've tried to do with the course homepage is put everything there that you would likely need when you log into Canvas, open up the course, and sit down to start doing work. Everything you need, I hope you can start on this homepage and find it. At the top of the homepage, of course, is announcements. I don't use those often, but if you see an announcement, a new announcement pop up, please do read it because it probably is important, but I don't imagine anything really happening that I would need to make some kind of special announcement about. But if something were to come up, then I'd probably make an announcement about it. So just keep an eye out. If you see a new announcement, then please do read it. Okay, so at the top of the homepage is the section that talks about where to find me, how to communicate with me, how to connect with me during the semester, so that if you have questions and you need to reach out to me, or you need to hunt me down, these are the best ways to do that this semester. So we will do a live stream every Tuesday afternoon from 4 p.m. until about 5:30 p.m. Sometimes I don't need a whole hour and a half to do what I want to do. And sometimes I get some questions and I want to deal with the questions thoroughly, and I might go over a little bit. I'll usually mix in a few, well, 1 or 2 breaks on a long stream so that we all have a chance to get up, stretch our legs, get more water. Not have to sit here for an hour and a half or more without any kind of a break. But generally that will be what you'd expect, as I will give you roughly an hour and a half of live stream every Tuesday afternoon for the whole semester. So that's one way to find me, is in the live stream. Videos of the live stream are posted in a variety of places immediately at the end of the live stream. So when the live stream is done, I leave a video on Twitch. So if you like Twitch, you will find videos, the recorded video from the live streams, all on Twitch. Twitch, I think, will keep them for me for 60 days or maybe 90 days at this point. A good long time. I also post the live stream videos that I capture, which is the entire session, to YouTube. And I also send the video out for captioning by a service. and then I link the YouTube and the caption videos into my Canvas course, which I'll show you where that stuff appears here in just a moment. So the live streams also have videos so that if you can't make a live stream, or you can never make the live stream, or you need to come late and leave early, or come on time but leave, whatever sort of situation you have with the live stream, the videos will always be there. The live stream is not required, but it's encouraged because I like the interaction with people while I'm doing this. It's more enjoyable. I think it'll make the videos better for people who have to watch the video later, if there's a few live people asking questions and stuff. So hopefully some of you can make it on a regular basis. The second one is Confer Zoom. I will click into that link here in just a few moments, but Confer Zoom is a way of reserving one-on-one time with me in a Zoom session. So at this point, many of you probably have done something like Zoom, but basically we meet one-on-one in an online chat room. And Confer Zoom is a way to schedule one-on-one time with me. I do all of my office hours, my Zoom office hours, on Thursday afternoons, and you'll see that here in just a moment. I also do a drop-in office hour on Thursday afternoon. So from 4 to 5 p.m., I just have a Zoom room open, and people can come and go as they please if they want to hang out or ask questions. I'm usually not very busy during any of my office hours, so those are times when I tend to be pretty available. And then finally, if you need to contact me or make a separate arrangement for a meeting outside of the times that I have scheduled, because those times don't work for you, or maybe all the Zoom slots are taken, you can always message me through Canvas inbox. I strongly prefer that you communicate with me entirely through Canvas during the course of the semester. That way I don't have to go and separately manage emails to watch for communications from you. They come into me through Canvas inbox, and I prioritize those messages, and then I can put off checking my regular college email to other times. So that's the sort of the last way you can get in touch with me. All right, if you scroll to the bottom of the homepage, the entire course schedule is laid out for you with links to all of the content in the course. So this is a week-by-week schedule for all 17 weeks of the semester. Each week, most weeks have one set of content, which are what the modules are. They are the course content and the assignments. This first week has an orientation module in it, which is where I present to you a lot of the same information that you're getting from me now in the live stream, and then have a small quiz at the end, just to try to be as sure as I can that you understand the major course policies. I'm going to look at week 0 and week 1 today before we're done, so I'll come back to those in a bit. And then you can see sort of the major topics for next week, and then the module with your assignments and content in it linked. And then the yellowish ones are reminders about when you have projects in this class. If this is your first programming class, a lot of us who teach computer science use projects as our sort of main learning tool. So a project is where you take all of the things that you've learned up to that point, and you create a piece of software containing many or most of the concepts and techniques that we have studied up to that point. We have 4 projects, and they're all linked into this schedule page so that you kind of always know what's going on in the class, what's coming up due, what we're doing in any given week. You can access all of that stuff from here on the home page. Yeah, so that's that. One thing you will notice, there's no links to exams or anything, because we don't do exams. The projects are more than adequate for you to pull together all of the learning content in one place and kind of prove to yourself that you have actually learned those things. That's the home page. So now I'm just going to go through the other links that you can see in your version. So when you're looking at the screen, the next link should be announcements. And again, I don't use announcements very often, but they are a good way to reach out to all of you all at once. So in the off chance that something changes, I can't do a live stream, which is not likely, or I change a due date, and I would never change a due date to be sooner than the due date, but sometimes I might change it to be later because I decide that we need some extra time, but that's also not likely to happen. Anyway, so there's announcements, modules. So you can get to all the modules from the home page, but you can also look around. Hello, Eagle Eye. You can look around the modules on the modules page. The main thing I'm showing you here is that all of the modules are published and they are all accessible to you once you have completed the orientation module. Then the rest of the semester's content is available to you. I only do that because some people like to look ahead a little bit sometimes. I just, for me, it would create anxiety to think that the course material is being withheld from me for some reason that I don't know. So my way is simply to publish all of my course material, and then we'll get to it over the course of time. But anyway, you can get to all the modules from here. If you like to look around, if you like to see what's coming up, that's all available to you here. All right, so after that is the Confer Zoom link. So the way you use Confer Zoom, I don't know if it looks the same for you or not, but I'll assume that it more or less looks the same for you. If it'll load. So you can book appointments with me here. Yours will probably be a little bit different because it will be asking you to request the time with me. So anyway, every Thursday from 2 to 4 p.m. I have a series of 15-minute slots. I can see, for example, that this Thursday someone has booked, 1 or 2 people have booked slots to meet with me on Thursday. You can book back-to-back slots if you want to, although, you know, you'll have to kind of just make your best judgment. And, you know, if you think it's something really small, then maybe 15 minutes is adequate. But anyway, that's Confer Zoom. That is allow you to book 15-minute blocks of one-on-one time with me every Thursday. Howdy, Shamar. Oh, and I didn't say hi to Netero, and yes, as I did, Moises. So, hello. Actually, I can see a few more people. Let's see, whose name didn't I say before? Pardon me. Maybe Gigi and Galactic I didn't say hello to, whose names I can see in the list now. So, hi everybody, thanks for being here. So that's Confer Zoom. I know that Zoom meetings are weird, but it is a chance, if you want to, just to say, hey, this is me, and nice to meet you, and now you can see my face, and I can see your face, and we can talk about whatever you like. A lot of students in the past couple of years have used Confer Zoom just to sort of say, just so we kind of know each other just a little bit. All right, that's the Confer Zoom link. Guides. Yeah, so yes is asking, what if I can't do Thursdays? So you use Canvas Inbox to message me if you need a one-on-one meeting, and we will make an arrangement for a time that works for both of us. Okay, so the next link down on the Canvas course page is the guides page. So I'll show you what the guides look like, but these are step-by-step with pictures guides to performing some of the tasks that we do in this class when you are doing a lab or you're doing a project. I've created these guides to help you so that if you are alone at some point and working on a lab and you don't remember how to do one of the steps, I have guides here. These guides are all linked to your lab assignments. So at least for a while in the semester, when you go to the lab assignment, you will see that there are links to instructions to the various steps in the lab. And those links are bringing you back to these different guides. Here's what a guide looks like. So step by step with pictures. Many of the pictures I have actually gone in and kind of put little notes and markings on so you know what to look for when you're doing work in the class. So that's what a guide is. It's just there so that maybe some less of you will get stuck on performing a task until you get used to doing it with the guide there as a reference. Let's see. The next one is videos. So the videos page right now is blank. But what happens is at the end of the live stream, I was saying this at the beginning, when this live stream is over, I leave the video on Twitch, and I also make copies to a YouTube channel, and I also send a video out for captioning. So in my process of getting all the videos set up at the end of a live stream, I also come into this video page and make an entry with a description of what we talked about in the live stream that week, and then links to the caption video and the YouTube video. So the videos are here, the videos page is here just to give you one more way of keeping track of what's going on in the class by watching the videos. You can also just always go to the Twitch channel and the videos will be there. You can also just always go to the YouTube channel and the videos will be there. But also the videos are in Canvas on this videos page and then in one other place that I'll show you. So I'm trying to make it so that they're easy to find. Access denied on the Dambar. I'll check. What is your control? Do you know the Dambar if you're in 75, 78 or 88, 49? Do you guys know what your section number is so I can go check the links? Okay. That's a bummer. Well, let me go look real quick while we're talking about it and see if I can figure out what the issue is. Aha, I see something. That. Yes. Yes. It redirected me to another class, which it wouldn't let you in. 27762. How interesting that it does that. So sorry for the short stop, but I want to fix this and see if I can get people into the right place. 7762 277 27762. That was guides, videos. 27762. Now let's see what we get. Aha. So hopefully that has fixed it for you guys. So sorry about that. The link was broken and I believe it's now fixed. Okay. So thanks for bringing that up. It's another advantage of having the instructor view is I can just go fix it. Okay. So the last couple of links, the grade sheet, which is where you'll go if you want to track your grades. And then finally the syllabus, which I'm going to spend a little bit of time on here. So the syllabus, which tells you what the class is about. I'm going to zoom this up just a bit. Tells you what the class is about, what we expect to accomplish in the course. And then, so you can read those things. Hopefully you did before you signed up for the class, but this is a first semester programming course that assumes that you've never done any programming. And we'll talk about it a little bit today, but it sometimes feels like all we do in computer science is write code for software, but there are other aspects of computer science. And this course is meant to be about those other aspects as well. The trick is Just like if you were taking a class where you were learning how to write short stories, well, you're going to have to take a pencil and a paper at some point and write your ideas down, so that sometimes it feels like, well, this course is really about pencil and paper a lot. It's kind of the same idea with computer science. We have these ideas about how to solve problems with computers, but to actually do the solving of the problem with a computer, eventually we have to sit down and express our ideas in software. So we do have to learn the basics of computing, because that is the tool that we use in computer science to express our ideas. So Eagle Eye has some background in some programming, so you can sort of look forward to some review, and probably can be helpful in our class discussions, Eagle Eye, when people have questions about sort of the basic programming problems. That's awesome. Okay, so anyway, a little bit about the course, and we'll do a little bit more here in a bit as well. Course materials. So I don't have you buy any materials. The downside to not having you buy materials is that I have to do my best to kind of put together from a variety of sources materials that make sense for what I'm teaching. And that just sort of has its own problems involved with it. Not everybody is going to present the material as I would like them to. Sometimes they're not really presenting exactly the material that I want. So, but still, I've decided it's less painful on you if I don't ask you to buy books, and then just kind of learn how to use what we can find online as best that we can. So I sort of have, for this class, 4 main places that I use for reference. The official, we use a language called Go. And you'll see it referred to as Golang as well. So there's the official Go programming reference pages that we use sometimes. And then I have just a couple of other books and websites, or online books and websites, to help us in our process of learning Go programming. And no resource is perfect, so we do our best, and you'll get familiar with the materials, and hopefully you'll find one or more resources for learning Go programming that supplement what we do in our live stream that you like. So that's where we get our extra information from. In terms of doing the work in the class, we will do our software development through a website called Repl. So repl.it, which before we leave today, I'll show you an example or two inside of Repl. So you will develop your software in Repl. You will submit your labs and projects by giving me a link in Canvas to where your software lives, which will be a Repl URL, REPL. So we'll do all of our programming work in this web browser environment. You do have to have a free account in Repl to keep yourself separate from the rest of the world, but it doesn't cost money, but it is an account. And then finally, we use a discussion forum online called Piazza, which also you will need a free account for, but it's good for computer science types and programmer types, this discussion forum. It gives you a lot of control over how anonymous or not anonymous you want to be when you join in a discussion. And it also lets us do things with code that look like they're supposed to look when we put them in a discussion forum. So that's kind of the materials part. The course requirements, this is the work that we do, and really it's the work that we do that adds up to points that then add up to what a semester grade is at the end. So we have one quiz at the beginning. That's the orientation quiz, which is my effort at guaranteeing that you have seen and understood the major course policies. It's a very short quiz. You can retake it as many times as you want to until you get it perfect. And it's just there to make sure that you and I both know that you've seen the major course policies and understand them. We do a homework assignment. every week. So every week I will give you a few readings, and then I will have you answer questions from those readings. And I just find, my belief now is that a person who is new to programming or is new to computer science, there is sort of a book learning component. There's terminology to learn. It's sometimes useful to just consider a technique that we're talking about sort of in its book form, as opposed to trying to apply it in making software. So every week we'll have a short homework assignment with some questions based on some readings that I've asked you to do, which is, in my opinion, a good way to prepare for the lab work that you'll do afterward. Every week we will then have a lab assignment. The lab assignment is where you will actually make software. The weekly lab assignments start pretty small and then kind of adjust to get slightly larger over time as you develop your skill set, and can handle slightly bigger problems. So we do a lab assignment every week. We have a discussion every week. If you've done online classes, then probably you're tired of doing these kind of discussions. But there's two things that I use them for, that I think they have value for. For one thing, I think discussions are valuable because it can be pretty lonely to be an online learner. And a discussion forum is a place where you at least go once a week and you see, oh, look at all these other people. Well, we're all worried about the same problems. We're all asking the same questions. We're all contributing to the same sort of learning community. So it's a good way to just be reminded that you're not alone that way. The other thing I like discussions for in a class like this is that I can ask you as a group to sort of come together and do some research outside of class that allows us to learn more things than we might learn if it were just me talking at you the whole time. So this is a chance for us to come together as a team and add to the material that we're learning over the course of the semester. Finally, there are 4 projects. Typically, they last 2 to 3 weeks per project. And what I mean by that is the expectation is that you will be looking at the project requirements, and then over the course of 2 to 3 weeks, you will go revisit your project and keep building it until you get to a final solution. Not everyone likes to work that way, and you may find a way that works well for you in terms of building projects, but you'll hear me refer to our projects often while we're working on them. So we will have 4 project cycles in this class. Today we begin project 1 cycle, meaning this week is the week to go look at the first project, and then we will begin to talk about how we can take what we're learning in lecture and apply those to the requirements of the project. Projects are also software, making software. Okay, so that's the work that we do. 4 projects over the course of the semester. This course policies is really, so the main thing to be aware of is that we're surrounded by the internet, and we're surrounded by other students who are also working on the same programming work that we are. And if we get behind or we are struggling to understand something, there's a temptation to take the work of other people and use it as our own, which is a no-no in any subject. It's a copyright violation in our line of work, which could get you in really big trouble depending on the environment that you're working on. So it's okay to ask questions of each other. It's okay to offer answers to each other. The thing that you'll have to learn from experience is how much help is too much help and how much help is the right amount of help. So in our class, if you are in doubt, ask me. You can and you can use Piazza. So in Piazza, you can say, is it okay for me to show the person this much of my solution? And we can sort of then together learn when we cross the line as computer scientists in terms of plagiarizing other people's work. So it takes an adjustment period to learn how that affects us in computer science. If in doubt, though, ask before you share work with other people or give other people your work. It's going to happen once in a while, and it's not a good thing when it happens. So if in doubt about plagiarizing or plagiarism, ask before you do anything. Okay. Late work. So we are a skills building class. So every week we are going to build on the skills that we learned the prior week, and we will do that for the entire semester. Because we are constantly relying on what the last thing that we did was, late work is just, it's very, very disruptive, and it will throw you off track for achieving your goals in this class. So as a general rule, I do not accept late work. Because allowing a late work is really allowing someone to ruin their semester in this class. So that's the general rule. When you see a question on it in your orientation quiz, the answer is late work is generally not accepted in this class. That said, if something happens that is affecting or will for some short amount of time affect your ability to submit your work in this class, please let me know, because sometimes we can work something out together so that you don't get behind. So sort of keep it in your head that we don't like late work, and we don't want late work, but we also know that there is a real world and real life out there, and things can happen. Okay, and then we get down to sort of the last thing. So the way the points work in this table, we have the one orientation quiz. We actually have 17 homework assignments, but I keep the best 15. So your low 2 homework assignments are automatically dropped. That can be that because you took a 0 because you didn't do it, or because you scored low because you got some questions wrong. Whatever it is, your low 2 homeworks are dropped. Same goes for the labs. There are 17 of them, and your low 2 are dropped. Same thing goes for discussion. There are 17 of them, and your low 2 are dropped. Another reason why I don't generally take late work is because I've already built into this class the ability for you to miss an assignment or two without damaging your grade. And then the projects. There are no let-ups on the projects, because those are by far the most critical thing we do all semesters, those projects. Because those are the place where we can bring together everything all at once and make a good piece of software that's doing lots of interesting things, and letting you have that experience of creating something from a blank screen that runs on the computer. Looking at the time. Okay, so that is the syllabus. That's the way the course works. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk through the week 0 module, and then take a short break before we do the week 1, the actual content, where we do something interesting in terms of doing some programming. So let me go back to the home page. Mostly to remind you that you can get all the modules here on the home page. I'm going to back this off one. So this week is unusual in that we have both an orientation module, that's the week 0, and week 1, which is actual course content. So let's look at the week 0 and then take a break. Oh, we'll try to. Okay, so the way these modules work, probably a lot of you know this by now, but if you don't, when you go to a module, in my classes anyway, the .0 page, so 0.0, that means week 0, orientation. The .0 page is the first page. And then they connect to each other. So you go to the first page. Here's the .0 page. It's a lot of text, which I'm not going to read at you right now, but this is spending a little bit of time telling you about myself, telling you my thoughts about the course, and then talking a little bit about the materials that I've already mentioned. So the way you work through a module anyways, you go to the first page of the module, and then you read through it, and then you click the next button at the bottom, which takes you to the next page of the module, which in my class, the second page will always be .1. So this is week 0.1, which is actually the second page of the module. This page describes for you what the links on the left mean. I've already kind of been through those, but this is a longer explanation of what's going on here. And then also has an explanation at the bottom of the important links in gray on the right. You can always go back in a module to the prior page. So I've read that one, then I'll go to the next page. This page is another one of those orientation module pages where there's some ideas about how you might maximize your chances of success in the course. Online learning is challenging because you have to be your own motivator. There's nobody in a classroom that's going to notice that you weren't there that week and reach out to you and say, hey, where were you in class this week? You're not going to have classmates that are sort of easily accessed because you see them in class twice a week. So you do have to exercise self-discipline in an online class. And everyone will have a different way of doing that, but hopefully you will find your rhythm in this class quickly. Anyway, these are just some tips about to give you some ideas that may or may not be of help to you in terms of being successful in the class. I'll click the next button. So this is reviewing again what I just went over, which was the kinds of work we do in the class, late work, when the live meetings happen and how you communicate with me, all of that we've talked about. So these are just going back over that material. And then the last thing in the module is an orientation quiz. There's no time limit. You can retake it as many times as you want to get a perfect score. The only thing about it is that it is due Sunday at midnight. So in our class, all assignments, everything, every week is due Sunday at midnight. So this week's assignments are all due before midnight on Sunday, August 28th. And then week 2, all of its assignments will be due on Sunday, whatever that is. September something probably. So Sunday at midnight is always when the due dates for that week happen for all of the assignments. That's also true for projects. Those will be due on a Sunday before midnight. And then if I click this button, it takes me to the week 1 module, which I'm going to then stop and take a break on. Yes. So week 0 and week 1 both happen this week. So week 0 is the orientation part, which makes this week different. But then we have week 1, and that's the actual content, which is like the content for the rest of the semester. So yes, this first week will have both of those in it, which means that this week, in addition to reading through the extra orientation content, you have the orientation quiz plus the regular assignments, which are homework, lab, and discussion. So it is 4:41. I'm going to take a break until 4:45, so about 4 minutes to get some water, to stretch my legs, and to give you guys a chance to do the same. So I'm going to put a be right back screen, and then I will start back up at 4:45. Okay, so I'm back. Oh, I'm glad to see in chat. Yeah, like this is a great way to sort of leverage the experience of your classmates is to share ideas about um, their way of managing their online learning. So that's cool. Okay, so now we get to do the far more interesting part, which is actual content. Um, so let's do that. I went back to the home page. Oh, I should say it. So someone noticed that I had a dead end reference to a broadcast preference poll in this week's discussion assignment. I just edited that out of both classes. So I was going to try to manage a whole bunch of, at least multiple options, but it turned out I couldn't make it fit in a schedule to give multiple live stream options. So I dropped the idea, but forgot to drop the reference to it in the discussion assignment. So that's been fixed. Anyway, so I'm on the home page. And I'm going to go to week 1 now. So this week is different because you have the orientation plus a regular week's work. The orientation is reviewing the major course policies and then taking a short quiz. That's the only week where that kind of weirdness happens. But we will do week 1 this week. So let's go look at what the module has in it. So week 1 is a regular module. So they'll all be structured like this. So let's walk through it and then we'll do something fun. I did not log in to Repl it, darn it. All right, well, that's fine. I'll have to do it when we get there. So there's always a goals page, and this is just kind of telling you what's going to happen this week, what we expect to accomplish in a given week. So this week, we want to get Piazza accounts so that we can start joining in the class discussions. We want to get a Repl it account so we can start doing our programming labs in the Go language. And then we're also going to do a little bit of book learning to get just some basic terminology about what programming is, what computer science is. We'll get exposed a little bit to the process of creating computer software. And that's just kind of laying a basic foundation. And then I'll have you explore kind of the components of a Go program. Some of this I'm going to go over now. Others of it I'm going to leave for you to encounter in your reading. So I'll talk a little bit about these things, but I also want you to do the reading. So I'll leave some of that for you in the readings. Okay, so this week there are 3 readings, and I'll just tell you the way I do the homeworks is I find the readings that I want you to do, I read them, and then I write questions straight from them. So when you get to the homework assignment, you might consider having these readings open in tabs unless you're good at remembering what you've read. But you'll find that the homework questions ask you things directly out of these readings. So they're not meant to be tricky. They're just meant to be there to kind of draw your attention to what I consider to be the important things. So I'm going to give you my definition of computer science, and then your reading might offer you a slightly different or more detailed definition of computer science. The reason why we're defining computer science is because this class, for many of you, is your introduction to computer science by way of learning the basics of programming. So computer science is a way of thinking and solving problems. We use computers to solve problems. So we look at problems in the world and we imagine how we might use computers to solve them. That is most of what computer science is. Many of us end up writing software so that we take our ideas for how to solve a problem and we actually put those ideas to paper, which is creating software. Some of us just design the solutions and other people take those designs and turn them into software. But all of us sort of imagine how we can see problems in the world and figure out how we might use a computer to help solve that problem. It turns out that there are lots of problems that we can help solve, or at least solve some parts of them. So for me, that's what computer science is. It is a field of study where we learn what computers can do, and then we look for ways to solve problems using computers. Computer programming is simply taking our ideas and expressing them as software. To me, anyway. You may find a slightly different definition in your reading, but that's to me. So computer programming for some computer scientists is most of the work that they do, and they love it. Computer programming for other computer scientists is none of the work that they do because they are idea people and designers, or managers of people who do programming. And for other people, computer programming is just a part of what they do as they sort of take an idea and refine it by creating a piece of software to represent their idea. So those are kind of my basic definitions of those things. This page, by the way, reading and lecture, this is the other place where the live stream videos will appear. So at the end of the live stream, I will embed the captioned version of the video here in the lecture page, with the idea that will give everyone the maximum amount of opportunity to locate the lecture videos when they're looking for them. All right, and then the homework, that will be based on your reading. So it's good to have the reading close at hand when you're doing the homeworks. I will point out to you there's no time limit on the homework, but you only get 2 attempts at it. So I don't want someone sitting there for an hour fishing for the right answer by process of elimination. What I want is someone to thoughtfully do the reading, encounter the questions, get almost all of them right, like as not, and then for the ones that they were a little bit confused about, go back, find the specific answer in the reading, and then get 100% on the second pass through the homework. That's kind of my dream of how that would work. All right, so after the homework comes the lab. So this is where I'm going to stop and actually do this so that you can see the whole process play out. I am going to have to, I bet I'm not logged into Repl. Let's see. I am not logged into Repl. That's irritating. Oh, wait, I'll do it this way. So one moment while I log in to Repl. I get two-factor as necessary, but one can get tired of it. All right, so here's Repl. So when you do labs and projects, you will do all those things here in Repl, and then you will be submitting URLs in Canvas. So I'm going to walk through at least part of this first lab assignment so you can see how that what that looks like. So hopefully you'll get something when you create your Repl account that looks roughly like this screen in front of you. There's a whole bunch of links on the left. I personally only ever use home and my Repls. That's the way that you pronounce that, is Repl. And it's kind of a computer science-y acronym, which we don't need to get hung up on a lot, but I might tell you what it is here in just a moment. Okay, so here's Repl, and I'm going to then have the tab open for the lab assignment. I'm going to have the tab open for Repl, and I'm going to go see what the lab assignment is asking of me. It has a series of steps, 8 steps for me to follow. Oh, the link is getting censored. Let me see if I can allow. I see that you guys are trying to get the Discord link out there, but it won't. Oh, you know what you can do? Post in Canvas, Shamar, or you can make a post in Piazza and put the Discord link in there if you want. So you can just go make a new post and say class Discord and put the link in there. Might be a way to do that. Okay, so the lab. Anyway, I'm about to go through these steps. I'm not going to go in great detail on all of them. I will do them and tell you when I'm doing them. But notice here that a lot of these steps have links to instructions. Those are the guides with the pictures and the detailed steps. So once you've done this set of steps a few times, you won't have to think about it anymore. Okay, so I went to Repl. I already had an account, so I just logged in. All right, so my second step is I'm going to create a Repl. So the easiest way to understand what this term means for our purposes is this is a lab or a project. So for every lab, you will have a new Repl, which means that you will have as many as 17 Repls, which is really just a project on that website, and you will have 4 projects. So at the end of this class, you will have at a minimum 21 Repls, most of you, 17 lab Repls and 4 project Repls, and you may have additional Repls based on your own experiments or things that you were trying out on the side, or things that that I shared that you were trying. So I'm going to go do step 1, which is I'm going to create a Repl. So the way you create a Repl, there are a bunch of links for doing that on this screen. Let me make sure you can see it. You can. So there's a create button here in the top left. There is a create button here on the top right. And there is a create button here in the center of the screen. These are all do the same thing. You pick the one that you like. I'm going to do the top left. All right, so I'm going to create a Repl, and then this is the key part. Hello, Proxify. This is the key part for creating a Repl. You want to use the Go language. That's the language that we will use in this course. I hope that you'll find that you like it as a programming language. I like it a lot. And we'll talk a little bit about where it came from and what its features are as we go forward. But I thought for this week, you'd probably just want to see, like, how do I do the lab this first week? So we're going to create a Repl. We get this little pop-up. I want to make sure it's a Go Repl or it will not work. So make sure that you get this little Go Repl. So it is a Go Repl. If I mess that up, I can always change it. So I just want a Go Repl. Here's another thing. They give you these funky names for your Repls. misty, showy properties, some random agglomeration of words. But what you really want to do is you want to name it for your lab. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the course number and an underscore and a lab 1 on it. And this is because I have more than one course that's using Repl, and I want to keep the courses separate, which is why I put CSCI 20 underscore lab 1 so that I can easily find this Repl, this lab, later. So yes has asked, do we use school email or personal email? You can use whatever email you like for these accounts. That's totally up to you. I would probably use my school, but they're separate from the school, so you can use whatever you prefer for creating your Repl account. And also really your Piazza account, because no emails are going to flow through there anyway. But I think school is a good recommendation, just to keep this account and this work separate from other things. Okay, so I gave my Repl a title. You can probably get away with just calling it Lab 1, but I put the CSCI 20 underscore in front of it because I have another class that I'm making Repls for, and I don't want to get them confused. You probably will not have the option to do private. I pay because I appreciate their service and I use it a lot, but you guys will just use the free one, so you won't have an option but to have public Repls. All that means is that other people in theory could, if they could find the link to it, they could make copies of the code, but that's not going to be anything to worry about. And then we create the Repl. When I click create Repl, you'll see that what happens is it actually opens the Repl or the project. Oh, that's a good question, Shamar. So is it helpful to have control numbers? You don't need the control numbers in your Repl names because I'll have your specific link. So because I'll have your specific link to your specific Repl, I don't need anything other than the link, actually. So it's fine to not have the control number. So, and actually, Shamara, let me show you where you can kind of see that here. So now I have a Go programming project. It actually is already a runnable project, so I can actually click the run button and I can look in the screen on the bottom and I notice that it's already doing stuff. So this is a tiny little program. You'll see something about this in this week's homework, this Hello World program. If you've done programming before, then you've heard of Hello World. This is kind of famous among computer scientists because whenever we encounter a new programming language or a new technology, we always sort of want to see the hello world, like what's just the most basic thing in it, so I can kind of get a sense of it. Okay, so this project is not ready, but it is now, it's not ready to submit, but it's ready to work on. So Shamar, let me just, I don't know if you can see it well, but up here, in fact, I'll just copy it into the screen so you can see it. So here is my Repl link. And that's what you would end up submitting in Canvas, is this link here that takes me directly to your Repl and your code. So you don't really have to worry about the names even that much, although for your own purposes, you should probably name them per the assignment. And it'll have, you know, whatever you chose for your username in here and stuff. Okay, so that's step one. Well, that's many steps. So I created a Repl it account. I logged into Repl it. I created a new Go Repl, and now it is open and ready for me to do the next step. So this is the step that may be a little bit weird for people. No, actually step 4 is. Let's do step 3, which is play around with the settings. So let me show you what that looks like in Repl it. So on the left here are some links, some little buttons. There's the files button, that's the default. There is a version control button, which we're not going to use. You can use it if you want to, but I'm not going to ask you to use it. There is a secrets button, which we're not going to use. There is a database button, which we will not use. But there's also a settings button that if you want to, you can play around with. So in the settings here, you can do things like change the layout from stacked to side by side. Puts the little terminal window over on the side. I'll move it around from time to time depending on what I'm doing, but I'll keep the stacked. You can change the font size. I usually have it fairly large so that you guys can see it on the stream. I usually don't change the indent type. I leave it on spaces. I usually leave, so the indent is the amount of space that's being used for these things that are spaced over, you see. So right now it's saying it's 2 spaces over, which is a good setting to have, so I don't mess with it, but you could. And that's it for me. That's all I touch. So it's usually just this stacked or side by side, but you can play around with the others just to see what they do if you like. That's the settings link, and then I'll click on files when I'm done, and now I'm sort of back to where I started. That is step 3. Okay, so gotta look at the time. Step 4 is actually sort of multiple activities. There is a guide that details with pictures what I'm about to do. So step 4 will take you to some code that I have written to get you started on this lab. So I'm going to click on this link, which will open a new tab and then take me to this crazy looking screen. But down in the bottom of it, it's got a little program in it with some blanks carved out. So these little underlines you can see are places that the assignment's going to want me to do something with. So the way you do this, at least the way I would do it, I click on this raw button here. This is all in the guide. And then I get a screen with only the code part. And then I select all of it. I do, you can either right mouse and copy, or you can Control C, which is what I do, Control and then C to copy. Then I go to the Repl. I'm going to move this out of the way a little bit. I select everything that's there and I delete it. So I get rid of all the stuff that was pre-populated. And now I do Control V, which will copy everything, or paste everything rather, that I just copied into the screen. So now I have the starter code that was given to me for this assignment. That is what step 4 is talking about. And there is a guide that will walk you through that whole process I just did if you forget. Okay, so that's step 4. Step 5 says complete the documentation at the top of the Go source file. So if I go back to Repl it, I will see that there is stuff in gray at the top. This is the documentation. For our purposes, the documentation is the assignment name, my name, and the date that I completed the assignment. I'm going to complete it right now, so it'll be today. So that is what I mean by the documentation, and you can kind of tell it's different because it's gray and everything else is different colors. If you haven't done programming, these lines that have a little / in front of them, we call those comments. One of your readings is going to remind you that we call those comments. Comment. But what a comment is in programming is it is a note that you can place inside of a program that doesn't become a part of the program. So those are just notes for mine and other people's reference that have no effect on the program itself. Those are comments. I'm going to go ahead and put my name in here. I'm going to put today's date because I'm about to finish it off. And before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and run the program at this point and see what happens. And I'm looking in the bottom here. So it printed out a bunch of stuff to the screen. It printed hello world. It printed my name is blank, blank, blank. My major is blank, blank, blank. This is my blank, blank, blank. One of my favorite pastimes is blank, blank, blank. And then I can kind of compare the code to the output that I'm seeing to make some sense of what the program's doing. So this thing at the beginning of each line is printing a line to the screen. You can kind of tell that now because it says Printline. This thing in front of it looks weird, and we will talk about what it is. In Go terminology, the way you pronounce FMT is fumped. It stands for format, but Go programmers say fumped when they are referring to this FMT thing. Don't worry tons about it, but just know that the way you get text to print to the screen is fumped.printline. There are other ways to print text to the screen, but this is the one that we're using today. Fumped.printline will print a line of text to the screen. Here it is, hello world. Here's another fumped.printline. What will it do? It will print another line to the screen, which is all of this stuff. And the thing to notice here about what's being printed to the screen, it is literally the stuff that's between the quotes. So it's literally exactly what you see between the quotes. I'm going to go ahead and update this and put myself in there. And then I'm going to run the program. So this is a recommendation I make to you. Whenever you make an alteration to a program, go ahead and run it and see what you get. So everything's okay so far. So I'm going to keep going. So I make some small changes. I run it again to see if my small changes did what I wanted. And look, there is my name and my major in place of the underlines that used to be there, exactly what I wanted. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the next one. This is my, it's a lot of semesters, by the way. This is my, I don't know, somewhere around 45. Something like that. A while. So a small change. I'm going to run it again. There's my change, so I'm happy with that. And then I'm going to show you one other thing just to be on the lookout for. I'm also watching the clock a little bit. So let's just say that my fingers betray me and I accidentally do something like delete one of those quotes. Now this one is a little bit harder to see, but one thing you will get used to seeing, your eyes will just start to notice it, is that this parenthesis here is not the same color as the other parentheses, and that's on purpose. That is there to it is meant to call your attention to a possible mistake. And the mistake here is that in Go programming, if you start up a set of double quotes, you have to end the set of double quotes somewhere. So the color change and difference tells me that there might be something wrong. The other way I'm going to notice that something is wrong is I'm going to click run and I'm going to get a bunch of errors. This is going to take practice, so don't worry if you don't immediately kind of see the problem. So I'm just going to tell you what these numbers and stuff means, and then may or may not be helpful until you get some practice. But this first one here where it says Newline and String, so what it's really saying is in main.go, that's this file, on line 14 at column 58, something is wrong. Now we can't see the column in here, but I can see line 14 that's highlighted, that's presented to me on the screen. Something is wrong on line 14. The next error also says in the file main.go on line 14 at column 58, something is wrong. And there's actually two errors here for the one problem, which happens sometimes. And then I get an error saying that's a deal breaker. So again, it takes practice, but eventually you'll learn to start kind of comparing, well, there's nothing wrong with line 13, and I meant for it to be very long, similar to line 13. So what's different about line 14? And with a little bit of practice, I might notice, oh, wait a second, this parenthesis is a different color. somewhere near there is the problem. And then hopefully I'll notice, oh, the quote is in the wrong place, is missing. Once I do the quote, notice that the colors go back to being right and everybody's happy again. Pastimes, I'll just say hiking, which I'm not going to get to do for the next few months very much, but I do like it. So there, I'm going to click, I fix my problem, I hope. I'm going to click run again, and the program does what I want. I'm thrilled. So at this point, what I would do is go back to the lab, make sure I've completed all the steps. I replaced the blanks with information. I didn't play around with the way things were spaced and tabbed in. So this is something else that you will have to get used to over time. But do you notice how all the fumped.print lines are all lined up like this? That's on purpose. You will learn why we do that on purpose, but I didn't change that. I didn't, like, draw one of them back. I left it alone. I kind of just generally left things the way that I found them in terms of the way the whole document is formatted. So I'm supposed to do that, so I did that. I ran the program to confirm that the program worked. At this point, I can go look and see if I am meeting the requirements. So does the program run? Yes. Did I do the documentation at the top? I did. I put my name and the date. Did I mess up any of the document formatting? I did not. Did I replace all the blanks that I encountered in the file? I did. And then finally it says, oh, if I want to, I could add something else. I will leave that for you to challenge yourself with. How could I add some extra outputs in there? I'm sure a lot of you already know, are thinking, I know exactly what I'm going to do for that. And then finally, copy and paste the URL for the REPL into this assignment. So let me switch to student view and see if it will let me do that. It will. So here's the assignment as you would see it, and then there is a web URL. So what I do to submit the assignment in my REPL is I go up here to the address bar. I highlight the address of my REPL. I do Control-C to copy or right mouse click to copy. Control-C, I go to the assignment. I do right mouse to paste or Control-V to paste. And now I submit my assignment. And then I don't touch my lab anymore because the instructor is going to come in behind me at some point and check over my lab. So I want to leave it in the perfect condition that I left it in when I completed it. So that's how you would do a lab assignment. So I just completed the whole one. Oh, good question. So the Dan bar asks, what about saving? So Repl it will automatically save your changes, which I find a little off-putting that I don't have to do anything to save, but it will automatically save for you. One kind of tip about Repl it is if it seems to be hanging on you, if it's not responsive, if it seems like things disappeared and aren't coming back, you can try to refresh the page. Sometimes you have to close the tab and reopen Repl it. Sometimes you have to close the browser and reopen Repl it. Hopefully that is rare that happens to you, but occasionally you do have to refresh the page to reset the Repl. You shouldn't lose all of your work. Occasionally you'll lose a tiny bit of work, but usually you won't lose anything. And yes, so if I were to go back to my home, so it has my recent REPLs in it, but I can also go to my REPLs and I can find, so here's the CSCI 21. I can click on the REPL, it will reopen it, and it will be in the state that I left it in. And that would be true if you logged out as well. So it's a nice tool. It's nicely done. I appreciate how convenient it is. Okay, so there is a lab to completion, and then we will step through the rest of the module and see what else there is. So The next one is the discussion, which I have now cleaned up. So you want to create a Piazza account and then log in. And let me show you how the filters work. So I have 8849 open. There's also a separate one. You'll have your links to your own sections. So I can get into both of them. So the filters are up here at the top. So here's the week 1 filter. There's a whole bunch of discussions here, but if I use the week 1 filter, I get to the specific one for this week. There's already 18 of you have done your bit in it. So you all know exactly what's going on. You go into the discussion, and then you scroll down to the bottom, and you compose a new follow-up to make a contribution. The other thing you can do if you want to is you can reply to your classmates' discussions. So I'm going to get off that just because there's people in there. But so you can go to the bottom of the discussion, compose your own follow-up, and then you can optionally also reply to your classmates to string on to what they've added. You are encouraged to make your own posts when you have questions. You can use the filters to place your questions in the week where that matters. If you forget to use the filters, that's okay. Just post your question. We can all see it, and we can all then kind of join together in answering the question, solving the problem in a lab or a project. It's quite fun when we get some good discussion going, and you guys sort of have the courage to venture and answer. One thing I'll tell you about Piazza is if you try to answer someone's question and it's wrong, that's okay. The whole point is to try to help your classmates. Don't purposely give them a wrong answer that you know is wrong, but if your answer is not quite right, then myself and your classmates can come in and kind of get ourselves down to the specific answer that we want. The point is, in part, that we all know that we're all out there trying to help each other, and it's okay sometimes if the answers aren't right. I've certainly answered questions wrong in my life, and will continue to do so until the day I die. So it's not anything to be ashamed about. The thing to feel good about is that you have reached out and tried to help a classmate, and hopefully they would return that to you when you reach out for help. Okay, so that's the discussion part, and then the last page of the module is reminders, which I also cleaned up. Oh shoot, another. Yeah, I'll have to clean up the. Oh, that's a bummer. Piazza has you. Don't worry about it. It doesn't really matter a whole lot. So I can probably move you to the other section. So if you ended up in the wrong Piazza discussion, would you please Canvas inbox me, and I'll go do my best to move you to the proper class. So tell me what class you should be in Canvas discussion, and I'll fix it. And maybe there's another broken link in there somewhere. This taking on the extra programming algorithms 1 class kind of threw a wrench in my works, and I had to scramble to put together the materials and try to fix links. So my guess is, which I would be surprised, but I'll go look real quick. Shouldn't be the case, but we'll see. I tried to be careful about this, but let's see. So this is 8849. It should take me to 8849. 8849. And make sure the syllabus also goes to 8849. Yeah, so I don't think the links are broken. I'm not sure what's going on in... But if you're in the wrong section in Piazza, please let me know in Canvas inbox, and I will go... hopefully I'll just be able to put you in the correct section for that and get it worked out. So some of you are in 7578, and some of you are in 8849 in your enrollment. So we want to do our best to match your Piazza discussion to your course control number, and we'll get it fixed. Okay, so I think that's where I need to stop. So anyway, Canvas inbox, we will work out these little problems. And if you see broken links or stuff, it's very helpful to me if you let me know so I can just get that fixed real quick while I iron out the bugs. Hopefully now I've got the bugs ironed out. Um, but I wouldn't be surprised if I left a broken link here and there. In the case of Piazza in A849, I don't have broken links, so something else might be going on there. Okay, anyway, hope you have a good week. Thanks for being in the live stream if you're able to be here. Someone has a Discord link, and that probably goes into their section of Piazza. So if you're okay with it, I'll ask the person in Piazza if it's okay if I share the Discord link with the other section before I do that. But anyway, hopefully I'll see a lot of you here next week at 4 when we can start digging in a little bit more. We will iron out whatever bugs we have with Piazza and links and whatnot as fast as possible. And otherwise, have a good night, have a good week, and I will look forward to talking to you again next week.